It's so great to be over here. First of all, I would like to recognize the people also here on the dais. Yasmin, a great friend and colleague, very passionate about the topic that we're discussing. Mr. Biang Kanongo, the chairperson of the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Dr. Hisman Mandol, Kancham Gupta, but especially also all the people here in the audience and all the experts over here. For me, I really am very grateful to be over here. This is one of those topics that WHO is involved in. Within the UN, of course, UNICEF and UNFPA are very core in this area. And if you don't mind, I will reflect, especially on some health issues. But again, this is not only an health issue. So in that sense, I think we really would like to recognize that adolescents and young people, they represent an opportunity, and they need to be educated, they need to be empowered, and they need to be healthy to turn the fortune of the country. So these things need all come together, and I think that's very important, and my previous speakers has all put some of these things very clearly together. One thing what you also have heard a few times already is we are not listening. We are not listening to our adolescents. Myself, I'm a father of 2 daughters, very proudly. They're now 25, 22, they might have passed it. But it's in that sense, I think, if you go to the journey, then are we listening when it's needed? Because at the moment that adolescents grow up, there are issues in the family. Yeah, they start challenging you, and then they start challenging, and parents find them very uncomfortable because before they were listening, and now they are challenging you, and then people get upset, and often there is already difficulties in the communication itself. That's only from what's happening in the families. But in the societies, can sometimes even be more cruel. We do not, I think, listen well enough, which I think has come out quite a few times in the whole discussion. Indeed, I think if you look at some of the issues which I would like also, let's talk about the sexual and reproductive health needs. I think many have already touched upon it. Early marriage, still a big challenge. 20% of the girls are married around 18 years old. That is something for the society to look into. This is very early. And then 8% of the married girls between 15 and 19, they're already pregnant. Or they're already a parent, they're already a mother. These issues, I think, are some very clear challenges. The communication and the access to services most likely not there. And I think this is a major challenge, and I think we need to look into this. There's one issue that has not been mentioned, gender disparity. I was also the WHO representative in China. The gender disparity in India is further to the extreme than it is in China. And it leads to that issues like abortions are an issue. And abortions are the time that often girls are also dying. And I think this is something which I think we need also to look into. And this is also something for the society. This is not a very simple thing, it's very sensitive. But it's an issue where the society needs to look into. Nutrition is a very important part. 40% of the adolescents, they are anemic. If you're anemic and you sit in the school, you cannot learn. You cannot move, you cannot do things, you cannot think, etc. This is an issue which I think is very simple and needs to be looked into and needs to be supported. Then I think there are other issues which we haven't not yet mentioned. Substance abuse. In some of the schools, I think these things are happening. And as parents, sometimes you don't want to hear it, or you don't want to, and you always believe that your child will not be doing it, but these are issues which I think are happening. I'm very proud of the Ministry of Health that they have been banning the vaping, if talking about tobacco. I think India, and I would like to give them even applause, would you like you to applaud that they were one of the first countries who have banned the vaping, the e-cigarettes. Please do so, because I think this is an addiction that you need to be very careful about. And I think for India to ban it at this stage, I think is an excellent part. You know, sometimes I'm also reflecting on from how I grew up and how children now grow up. Now, one thing for sure, when I grew up, we didn't have this one. And I think it has been mentioned, there's a lot of bad information, but it's also, of course, very nice. I stay in touch with my daughters in London because of this. And it's very easy, and I'm very happy. So I am not a basher of the digital era. I think there are a lot of things which are happening good. But myself, I was playing football, I was climbing trees, I was doing all kinds of things, and I was not on that screen. Here, I think most likely we all have a challenge in our family that you most likely have to come to an agreement, at least when we have our dinner, please put this thing aside. That's a maximum what you most likely can negotiate with your children. That's an issue. Because then they don't do other things. I was playing football consistently. Whenever I had a little time, then we were doing all things. And I'm sure that some of you were doing the same thing with cricket and all the other lovely things, and field hockey. So this is an issue which I think we need also as a society, we need to look into. This is not only for India, this is for the whole world. I think the whole challenges are more or less the same. And this also comes to the issue about mental health. Mental health is an issue which is often forgotten. And also the stress. I'm not sure if I can share with you. I didn't do any homework till I was 12 or 13 years old. That was the way, I'm from the Netherlands, the way the system was. Here, and by the way, I'm 4 years old over here, but I'm 21 years plus old in Asia. I think Asia is quite special, that our little ones have homework 6 years old, 7 years old. It starts already. I will even reveal that my daughter, when we were in China, she had a South Korean friend, also the same age, 6 years old. On Saturday and Sunday, there were only certain spots that my daughter could play with her South Korean friend, because the person was doing piano lesson, was doing maths, was doing reading, in the meantime extra lessons. The pressure that children are under to perform is enormous. When I talk to my Indian colleagues and then I hear that if you want to go to a certain college, you need to have a 99% pass rate, it is hilarious. Are you not clever if you do it with 90%? I can tell you, I would not have been able to reach from where I am now. I'm a medical doctor, I have done even economics and whatever. I would have not passed that system by 18 years old. I was distracted by many other fun things. And I think this is an issue which I think we also, the society is now demanding so much from our children. But I've also seen, generally in Asia, and India perhaps even, if I may say, a bit worse. Our children don't do any sports in the last 3 years of their education because they have to reach a high mark. And as parents, often we don't intervene. Sports, it should be compulsory till you're 18 years old. And why is that? It's good for your body, but it's good for your mind. I can tell you, I've been a sports guy, and one reason why I have some spare parts now, just I got a new knee, but I can tell you, my mind was a lot fresher after I've done a game of tennis, or I played some football. Okay, physically was a little bit tired, but then my mind, wow, was ready to absorb again. I really think this is an issue what we need to look at the education part. Sports should be compulsory till 18 years old, no hesitation. Those 3 hours a week should be there till the end of the curriculum. It's good for the mind, it's good for the body, and that is something, and by the way, I think our WHO estimate is that nearly 83% of the Indian adolescents did not meet the recommendation of at least 1 hour of physical activity. 83%. Not good. That's too high for a society. And by the way, it's also good for the Olympics. If you do more on sports, I'm sure you will be doing better in the Olympics next coming. I think Japan is coming up, but for sure there are more Olympics over there as well. The suicide rate is an issue which is also forgotten. It's going back again to the mental health issue. Again, I think we've seen it, especially in societies where the pressure on the children are enormous. And they are enormous. Some of the things I have already been mentioned. And that needs special recognition and special attention. As WHO, we had a World Health Day, and we had the biggest response when we had our when we talked about mental health. And we say we need to talk about it. I can tell you we got so many positive responses. And then also even from individuals. Please be sensitive. Be sensitive what's happening in your family. You can make a difference. As parents, you can make a difference as a friend. If you at a certain moment recognize there's something going on, talk. create space, create room. These are issues which I think are extremely important to consider. So, yes, I think we have many challenges in this whole area, and I would fully also agree, and really appreciate my speakers who I can really see they are expert in this area. The law and the life skills, I think, are issues which are very well covered. Laws are always important, but it's a good start. But I think it's very much about, some of the issues that we all have been raising is about societies. We need to be involved. Communities needs to be involved. Politicians needs to be involved. We had earlier, I think I see also Angelina sitting over here, we spoke to a member of parliament about reproductive health. Yes, it's a sensitive issue, but we need politicians on board that we can talk about the things that needs to be spoken about. Because there's very clear scientific evidence. If you can talk about reproductive health, then there is better services. And that women, especially the girls, when they are better informed, it helps not only the girls, it helps the nation. And therefore, I think we need to make sure that this is a wide movement. Not only a discussion on Saturday morning, but it becomes a movement where all get involved. And all, I think you know better how to define it. I think that this is all for us in our role as parents, but also in our role in the society and other places. But it's also very important, and I'm very happy that quite a few was mentioning, don't forget the boys. This is also the time that the boys needs to have their space. And then keep on the main thing what I saw as a parent still, and even as of now, it is one of the main things what you would like to do when you're a parent, stay in touch. Talk to them. Keep on talking to them and give them space for their thoughts and their feelings. But I think we need to stay engaged. We need to stay engaged. And this is also the time that boys, I think we need to see how we can influence their perception about things. Because it is true. This tool can go anywhere. You type in something, and all your preconception, all your strange ideas will be confirmed. But if you don't know what your children are typing in and what they're thinking about, then I think we have lost contact. And we can never lose contact with our children. We cannot lose contact with adolescents. So yes, young people are the future. Investing in their health and education will have a long-lasting benefit. And I think this healthy behavior, including sports, throughout the time of school are key for a healthy body and mind. Let's invest in the health and education of the youth and develop the foundation for a stronger and healthy society. Accepting that it's not only about health and education, I think it's a far much more complex issue. And therefore, I'm so proud also that you put this issue out over here, and I'm very much looking forward to what the discussion will deliver today. Thank you so much.